beer should be fun. If you're not having fun,
What's
you
the point,
shouldn't be
right?
having beer. You're not in the right industry. And whoever like is trying to sell their shit and trying to say like, well, this is the best one. Who cares?
Yeah.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
Well, good.
Good. Have some.
If you're not,
fun.
Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C-Certified Brewhead, and welcome to episode 157 of Beer Knowledge, the podcast. This afternoon, we are in glorious, this is Rosemont, Patio.
it is.
Yes, I got it right. Montreal, Quebec, and we're here at MaBrasserie for my first time, finally, with Guillaume, who kills the sales here. Sir, pleasure.
Pleasure.
Glad we finally got out here. Thank you for having
Yeah.
us. This is my first time here. Like I said, I can't. People give me shit all the time that like, why the hell haven't you been here? And I had no good answer.
Well, I do remember that we were supposed to set up a meeting back in June,
I got sick,
and then you
I-
got sick, and you had to cancel, and then that's what life is about.
right.
So you
4
move
months
on
later,
and
3
get
months
back
later.
to the right time.
That's it. We made it work.
There you go.
Very cool to see it. Like we pulled up in the Uber. We're like, yeah, because you mentioned you're on the patio. I'm like, patio,
Yeah,
because I'd never even seen a photo of the place, so I had no context whatsoever.
yeah.
Huge wicked patio out the front. It was jammed, like
Packed of
everyone's
people.
Packed. It's actually quite a nice day today,
Yeah,
like
it
a
is.
late summer day. And then the brewery itself, where we're sitting right now, it's pretty damn big, decent size as well. Do you know what? I wasn't sure how big this place was going to be because I know it's a cooperative, which I think
Yep.
we should definitely get into. But very cool place. Looking forward to getting into it. So we're going to have 4 beers today.
Yep.
So maybe we'll start with the first one, talk about that for a sec, and then we'll get into your beer history, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are we rocking with?
So first one is a collaboration with the Vice and Versa.
Yes.
That's also located in Montreal. It's called Été. It actually has no hops, and it's been brewed with Darjeeling tea.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
pretty much.
Good. Yeah, big bangs. So Vice Versa, we were just talking about earlier. So anyone in Montreal knows Vice Versa. It's an institution.
It's one of the best place to get some beers in Montreal, to be honest.
Yeah, I love it. Huge wicked patio out there. It's right,
Yeah.
it's quite close to where we're at. And you said there was, I guess, it being été, summer. There are a handful. You're doing 4 collabs each year.
Yeah, we do have some 4 collaboration for each seasons. We do a different beer, and then this is our first time doing this one in particular.
All right.
So very, very proud about it. The head brewer is very much into those kinds of beer that are brewed with tea, and this one comes out very, very nicely. It's,
All right.
it's very like crushable, as you like to
As
say.
I say.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Yo, that is very crushable.
Oh yeah, that's made to be
It's like-
very, very refreshing.
Yeah, it's like all the flavors in the nose, and then it just becomes this kind of like creamy, like really well carbonated.
Yeah.
I don't know, just like table beer almost.
Oh yeah.
Because like a lot of the spices kind of like not dissipate, but they kind of blend in. Because I hate it when it's too spicy. I'm not into that at all.
No, but it's very simple beer. You do taste the aperture of the tea, and then but it's not overwhelming. It's
No, not at all.
just good, and then it goes down, and you want to have some more. Like,
Well, you really do. All right, we're gonna be doing all these beer photos all day. You ready? Legend. All right, so this one as well is 5.4%.
yep,
And what kind of tea did you say it was?
Darjeeling.
Okay. I haven't heard of that. Where's that from?
That's a very good question.
It's not. Oh, there it is, right there.
Yep, and I know it's someone here in Montreal that makes.
They get some stuff.
Yeah, we get the stuff. We try to get all of the ingredients as much as possible from local places. They do an art form of what they do, and this is their passion.
Right.
And then we do love to collaborate with those kinds of people as much as possible. Like at the end of the day, the tea most likely has cost a bit more than to buy it at the Costco.
Of course.
But it's so much fucking better.
Yeah.
Like it's great. And then we do provide some very good feedback from those people when we work with them, and it's local. I mean,
Yeah.
what else you want, right?
I love that.
We're located in the middle of Rosemont, Patio, as you were saying earlier, and Rosemont being one of the neighborhood with the most breweries in the old Canada. which is
Really?
absolutely amazing. Like you have
Yeah.
so many of them everywhere, and a couple of them are also part of the co-op of MaBrasserie. And so some of their beers are brewed here and brought to their bars,
Right.
Because they don't have the production level to maintain their bars as they're so popular.
Right.
So we're right in the middle of it, and we want to brew for the people of Rosemont Patio to start with, and we're looking for it to be as much as possible representing Montreal on the Quebec scene, and who knows where it's going to be in a couple of years.
That's really true, man. I love what you guys are doing. Let's get into your personal beer history, and then
Yep.
we'll move into MaBrasserie. So how did you personally get into beer, brother?
Where I do come from, alcohol isn't something not to talk about.
Right.
I've always had access to alcohol back home.
Where are you from?
Just South Shore of Montreal.
South Shore. Okay.
Yeah, and it wasn't taboo at all. And then every Saturday night, my father would always do something great for supper. We would spend all day cooking, and then at supper time, there was always a good bottle of either wine or a couple of good bottles of beers. And I think the first time that I actually tasted it, I was about 6, and then it always was present, and it was always great. It was never to get drunk. It was always part of
Like
good
a
supper,
meal
something
and-
that you share, and
Yeah.
I would just maybe have half of a glass, and that was okay. And then growing, I learned pretty soon in life that I had Crohn's disease, and
really?
yeah, I do. And then something that would really put me off, and I had crisis was every time that I was having commercial beers, my belly wouldn't stand it at all.
Right.
And then very soon I discovered, trying out some different stuff with friends, that whenever I was having craft beer, I had no issues whatsoever.
Right.
So I just rolled with it. And then 20 years after, I'm still drinking.
doing it.
I'm still on it. I'm still riding that wave, and then have no issues
Right.
whatsoever. Yeah.
That's amazing.
One of the things that comes down with the Crohn disease is that you don't ingest all the what's it called there? I have the French word. I'm sorry.
What's the French word?
Fire. It's iron. I'm
Oh,
not
iron,
getting
yeah.
all the iron that I should get from the food, and then there's so much yeast and so much good stuff in beer. I don't need to take any supplement. It's all in there.
It's all in there. Look at that. Part of a balanced diet, ladies and gentlemen, is beer. Okay, that's good to know, because when you said Crohn's, I have a mate with Crohn's, but I guess I immediately got it confused with celiac.
Yeah.
But of course, a completely different type of thing.
Exactly.
So you said 20 years ago,
Yeah.
you're drinking craft beer.
Oh yeah.
And this is 2019, so this would mean late 90s.
Yeah.
What sort of craft was around back then?
Unibrew.
that was it.
Unibrew was the thing, and then
That
you
was
had
it.
Boreal. Saint-Ambroise was already out there a little with McCausland.
Okay.
But I do remember one of my friends, he had a really nice place with a pool table, and then all of the Unibrew, what's it called there?
Oh,
like
the
posters
signs
and
and stuff,
signs
yeah,
and
yeah.
everywhere. And we had made a deal back then that every night we would go out and get some beer, and always trying a new beer that we never had before.
Right.
And it was possible. It was actually already possible to get something different every night. There was so much, and then there was a really nice place next to his place, so we were just going there every night and then grabbing something we never had,
Right.
taste it, put some notes down, and then roll with it. And then whenever we had something that was awesome and we weren't inspired, we could just go back and say, "Oh, that was super fucking great a couple of weeks ago. Let's get that again."
Right.
And then that was pretty much our life back then.
Right. And then, just before we get into MaBrasserie, you are what's your role at LABAQ?
I am a Cove president right now.
Co-president. Okay, so LABAQ is a homebrew association?
Exactly.
Here
That's
in,
the Homebrewer Association of Quebec.
Okay, perfect. And that is, so you got into homebrewing along the way?
Yeah, I think it was about 10 years ago. I was working with a colleague of mine, and we were just enjoying to taste some of the new craft beer that were available all over. There was some kind of a big boom at the early 2010, 2012, where a lot of new breweries were going out with so much styles that I never tasted before. And my friend came up to me and said, "Well, it's not that hard. It's like cooking, and you and me, we love cooking. We should try it."
Right.
And we just started to look at some of the videos back then that were available on the YouTube. And everyone back then must have seen, like, this guy is in Ireland, he's brewing in his kilt, and he was just showing off like all of the steps that were needed to do some beers, and it was so simple.
That's cool.
Everyone that we were looking at, we're all saying the same, like, just do your best and make sure everything's clean. That's,
Pretty much what you got to do.
that's what you're going to do whenever you're going to be cooking something anyways, right? So there's nothing hard to it. And then Moët International being in Montreal, they pretty much have everything that any breweries have. They're
That's
the
a homebrew
ones.
store, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But they also sell all of the ingredients and everything that you need for a brewery to start with. They're the ones that provide it for the whole Quebec province.
Right.
And they actually have a boutique that's open, and they do a fair price on everything, and you can make your own recipes, and they're going to help you with everything. So it was just super
Perfect.
easy to get
Yeah.
into.
Okay, that's sick.
Yeah.
So then you're basically at that point, like around the 2010 to 12,
Yeah.
you're saying you started homebrewing. How did you get into working here? Was that recent?
Yeah, I did start about a year ago here.
Okay.
I used to be working for another brewery before that as a sales rep.
Nice.
That was for about a year, and then before that, I was working in different areas, but mostly in the mental health environment,
Right.
at different levels, from intervention working to manager of accounts in
Okay.
multinational businesses.
Right. So clearly, bit of a career switch.
Yeah, it was. Events of life just got me to a point that I had been working in the mental health industries for the past 15 years, and
Right.
then I had a big bike accident going to work, and I was off work for a while, and I had been thinking about it for quite some time to just do something very different, something that passionates me in the future. I think I went through all of the steps that went along, like the mental health, and it was fun. I learned a lot, but I was just burned out of it.
Right.
I was just burned out of it, and then I needed to do something different. And as a streamer, that's something that I've been doing for the past 5 years too. I've been doing my own streams on Twitch, on all
Yeah,
sorts of
like gaming and
platforms.
stuff?
Yeah, gaming
Nice.
and stuff. And then one of the things that I was doing that I liked doing was just brewing on stream. I was just like putting in my camera and my mic up, and I was just brewing a beer, and then just interacting with the people out there, and just making sure that, like, it's so freaking easy to do. You just need a spaghetti pot and then some kind of a basket, and then you're good to go. That's all you need to brew some beers, and very good beers as well. Like, people tend to think that it's super complicated, that you need a lot of stuff, and you don't.
Yeah.
You just need some time and some motivation, and it's fun to do, and it's fun to share. And then growing from that, I went to LABAQ, as LABAQ was restarting after it crashed a couple of years ago, and that's what I brought to them. I wanted to brew live brewing sessions with them. I had experience doing it, I had fun doing it, and I thought that it's something that I did in English for a long time, and then I thought to myself, why am I not doing it for the French people here?
Right.
As my first language is French anyways. And then started doing that. We had a lot of success for the past 2 years. It's been fun, and it just brought me right into the beer industry. And beer industry just grabbed me and said, "Well, you should stay. You should stay. You're fun to play with. So let's go."
All right. You ain't going anywhere. All right, so coming to MaBrasserie, where we're at right now.
Yep.
So do you know the history of how this place came about? Because it's quite
Yep.
unique in the scheme of things in Quebec.
Yeah, there's a couple of co-op that exist, but as far as I know, those co-op don't necessarily brew other breweries. They brew their own, like LABAQ, BAOS, that are co-op, and then there are other ones as well.
Oh, like employee-owned type
Yeah,
of ones?
exactly.
Yeah, okay, cool.
MaBrasserie came along into a project where a lot of breweries that were located around here had their own brew pubs, and they had no place to produce as much brew as they needed for their brew pub. And then equipment, it's not cheap.
And space.
So might as well just buy it together, and then we're gonna form a crew that's gonna be making sure that the quality is gonna be there, and then it's gonna be at a human level of how beer should be brewed anyways.
Right.
Everything nowadays is super mechanical. It's all high tech and everything. we have a very, very, very old brewing system, and it's just exactly how it was and how it should be sometimes.
Right.
Beer is a simple thing to do. You just have to be aware and talented to brew it. And that's exactly what we're trying to show. We're not trying to show that we have the best equipment. We have the shittiest one. But we're trying to show that we're capable of brewing one of the best beers still.
Right. It doesn't matter what the equipment is.
Doesn't matter.
It's all about the techniques. And,
exactly.
Okay.
MaBrasserie was one of the first place to have some cans available. And then
and to sell out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all made from a very shitty old thing that's been like made homemade, and then
Right.
but it works because there's two guys working full-time doing it, and they feel it, they see it, and then if there's an error, they put it aside. When it's a machine doing it, well, there's going to be like issues on the fridge, and then, oh shit, well, the batch wasn't good.
Yeah.
As we've seen with other breweries, that's not going to happen here.
Right.
It's all handmade.
Right.
So
it's not like running through this automated thing and like okay. So to clarify for folks who might not understand, so a cooperative is essentially a brewery that isn't really owned by one person. It's a bunch of breweries.
Exactly.
The fermenters we have behind us, each brewery essentially paid for their own fermenters.
Yep.
So I know Boswell's a part of it.
Yep. Boswell.
Yep.
Hildegarde. Broa.
Yep.
Noir et Blanche.
Yep.
And I'm trying to think if there's anybody else right now, because we used to have more, and it's a changing thing, because we used to have also La Succursale, Bira, Yeast, and then they just went on their own right now.
Okay.
So they just took off with their fermenters.
Right.
So and they sold it to other breweries, and it's fine. They're going to be brewed somewhere else, and it's a changing thing.
They're constantly revolving. Okay. So do all the breweries own the building, or is it just equipment? Does one person or one company?
They're part of the administrative board, which makes sure that the finances are right, and make sure that everybody like pitches in like what needs to be done. Gotcha. But at the center of it, there's also MaBrasserie, and then MaBrasserie creates and does their own beer.
Their own beer, right?
And like the ones that we brought today.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So those are branded MaBrasserie,
yes,
which are brewed here for us here, and then there's also the ones that are brewed for the other breweries.
Gotcha. Now, being a cooperative, are the generally say for, like if you want to call it like contract brewing, which it's not because it's different, but say a contract brewing, if you and I owned a brewery and we went to a brewery to contract it for us, we're not allowed to touch the equipment because of the laws, and I think it's like that in Quebec and Ontario as well, where only the employees of the brewery who are contracting out are allowed to actually do it. What's the rules here? Is it the same type of situation?
It's a very similar thing.
Okay.
Well, one of the reasons why we do that anyways is that the people the brewers that work here, they know the stuff and they know what they work with. And then in their own breweries, they have their own system that they work with. And then it's kind of different. So working with them, we can actually learn and adjust our system and their way of interpreting their recipes that they do in small batches there.
Yeah.
And whenever like they feel like they have something great and they want to do more, and then they bring the recipe here, and we make sure that we interpret it as best as possible to resemble what they do in their own brewery.
Gotcha. And they're allowed to sort of like be here maybe for the first few brews to be like, no, so I need to do it like this, and then you guys kind of work together to
absolutely.
collaborative process. Okay, that's cool. Because they're
part of the co-op, so they're inevitable. Yeah,
and they want to make. I mean, eventually the idea is that the brew team here just knows what they need, and they don't have to. It's only the first few times, like dial it in. They're like, all right, we got it. Boom, let's go.
And then they also learned how our stuff work here. Right. So from there, whenever they have a new recipe, they're going to be setting the interpretation of how we're going to be doing this recipe in regard to that system.
So they can already pre-adjust it.
Yeah, exactly.
They understand.
Because they're learning it too.
And that's cool. It saves time. So over time, as you work together more, it just gets tighter and tighter.
Absolutely.
Now, the brewery, say something like Boswell. We interviewed Philip a little while ago. Great guy.
Yeah, he's amazing.
So basically they got a decent sized brew pub brewery, but he was saying that the beers that they package are brewed here. Is that really what it primarily is? So because they're all brew pubs, Hildegarde's a brew pub, and
Broa as well.
Broa is a brew pub.
Yeah.
essentially would just be brewing their packaged stuff here, or do you keg some stuff too?
Yeah, some of the breweries that we work with, like
it's caked right there.
yeah, some of the breweries that we work with, like La Succursale,
Yeah.
they never really had any bottles or cans or whatever that was got out. So
Yeah.
all of the beers that were brewed here
Yeah.
were just to be able to sustain their bars because they couldn't
The
sustain on
additional,
their own.
like the flagships or whatever.
Exactly.
JP was telling me that from
Yeah.
Beer and Style. He was
Same
saying
with
that.
Bira, same with Yeast, same with Noir et Blanche.
Okay.
Noir et Blanche has their beer outside on the market, but they're not brewed here. I
Okay.
think they do it with someone else right now for their
For
bottles.
canning and stuff. Okay.
Have they gone to cans? I haven't seen cans from them. I'm gonna go see them
They're
at
cool.
tomorrow.
Yeah?
Actually, I want to see what
Dan's
they're.
there now, eh?
Yeah, Dan's there
Yeah,
now. So
I heard he's a
I'm
GM.
supposed to go meet a friend in Noir et Blanche tomorrow.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to see what new they've been working with.
How's their beers? Good stuff?
Yeah, as far
I've
as I
heard
know,
good things.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're very, very good. Have you had a chance
No,
to taste any of
never.
them? Oh, Jan, as the head brewer, is very inspired about just throwing some stuff in and trying
See
things
what
that
happens.
nobody
Yeah.
does, right? Like lychee beer and just going
Cool.
wild. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna go and pick his yeast from the back of the brewery and then bringing it in and doing something with that. It's crazy. He's just having fun.
I love
Like
that.
he's very, very, very experienced brewer. He used to be the head brewer here back in when it started. But before that, he was head brewer at so many other like breweries that were very well known. He was participating in so many like super cool projects. Like if you ever meet Jan, you should like just shook his hand. Like this guy has like dreadlock like down his butt, and he's just the sweetest guy. Like
a character.
super fun. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I love it.
And then he's wild and he loves the experience of just trying stuff. And this is
like
what like brewing should be. This is like I keep saying like beer should be fun. If you're not having fun,
What's
you
the point,
shouldn't
right?
be having beer. You're not in the right industry. And whoever like is trying to sell their shit and by trying to say like, well, this is the best one. Who cares?
Yeah.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
Well, good.
Good. Have some,
If you're
keep
not,
having fun. We're getting drunk.
there's
really,
some other
like,
ones. Like I'm just gonna get another one if this one isn't great. Like
Yeah.
whoever goes on capsule and takes the shit on the beer, like how much time you have to lose? Like
Honestly?
seriously,
Yeah.
just go drink something else.
I feel like that applies to everything in society. If
Yeah.
you really take the time to go and shit on something, like you really need to look at your life a bit. and
Like
just
unless you
particularly
pay like
beer, man. We're trying to have fun.
$25 bottle and it was actually like infected with shit.
Right, so then DM
Like-
the brewery and be like,
Yeah.
hey guys, I had a bad bottle.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd replace it because breweries are like, oh no, like that's not good. Let
No,
me,
no.
Here, I'll send you another bottle. Sorry
Exactly.
about that. And then they know now. Like breweries are like so cool.
Every organization on earth should be like that.
I mean, I guess you're right. They really should. And I think a lot of these days, because of social media and stuff, and that people now can go and shit on anything,
Yeah.
like however they want, I feel like businesses are a little more customer service oriented because if they're not, the people will just keep going.
Yeah.
And they're just like, "Ugh, let's just put it to bed. What do you want? You want a free burger? You want another goddamn beer? Fine. They'll send it out. It just all depends because people are ridiculous. Sometimes people have valid points.
Absolutely.
And sometimes they're just having a cry for no reason, but it's more like how you approach it. There's just no need, particularly like beer. It pisses me off more than anything with beer. Like, these are small companies, man.
Yeah.
Like, they're not like multinational corporations. These are just like
Or small
individuals.
entrepreneurs.
That's it.
And we're trying our best.
Everyone's trying
And
to bet.
every
sometimes shit goes
organization
wrong.
that I know in the microbrewery, they're
Yeah.
just all trying their best.
That's it,
Some
man.
of them are better, some of them are not as good, and then they're trying their best.
Yeah.
And then like people that are like taking a shit on breweries that are not like up to date and doing all the easy stuff that everybody wants. Well, who cares? They're doing their things, and if they're still alive, well, maybe they're doing something great that you don't appreciate, but
Yeah.
somebody else is. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
that's what it
what
comes down
beer
to.
should be.
Yeah.
If you're not having fun, go away.
Stop it. We're just drinking.
Yeah.
Speaking of drinking.
Oh yeah.
So that was pretty much it, brother. Thank you so much for
Thank you
hanging
very
out.
much.
Really
It was
appreciate
very
it.
fun.
Where can we find MaBrasserie online?
MaBrasserie.com.
Yep. Do you know what it is on Instagram and Facebook and stuff? Or is
Yeah,
it just-
well, it's gonna be if you
Oh,
look
at
for MaBrasserie,
MaBrasserie?
you're gonna be finding it on Instagram and especially on Facebook. Not really on Twitter. I mean,
No.
Quebec is not really on Twitter,
No, it's
anyways.
not at all. It's weird.
And I don't want to pride myself, but with a good friend of mine and yours, with Mr. David Atman, I
Oh,
think
yes.
we've been doing a very good job of keeping up with what should be fun on Facebook and social media.
Yeah, you guys are
and
great with
that's something that we've been enjoying as well for the past year now.
Yeah. from the capsule and through LABAQ and stuff like
Yeah.
that, right? No, it's great. And where can people find you? Do you have a separate thing you want people to follow you on?
On Twitch, you can find me on Le Grand Mister, and then otherwise you just go on LABAQ.ca, and then we do a lot of trainings for people that wants to get into it with either like their taste, their off flavors, and the styles, and then brewing. We're just training people, and we're doing it like for free. Well, basically, you guys will be paying
For your ingredients, I guess.
for the ingredients and everything, but basically, I'm not getting any money out of it. I'm just doing it for the fun.
Right.
That's what we do.
I love it. LABAQ, by the way, as well. .ca. So, guys, if you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell so you know when the new stuff drops. Follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast, and check out the long form audio so you can hear very attractive gentlemen like Uncle Guillaume right here talk about craft beer in Montreal. That is it, guys. Thank you for watching and listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Get in ya.
Get it in ya.